Peter Piper pick a pepper. Peter Piper pick a pepper. Brah, brah. Bang, bang. Papa cap. Okie dokie. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and anyone in between. My name is Ginger Woods. This is the Ditzy Prodigy Podcast. This is like, I don't know, I think it's like the fifth or something episode, but this is the first video episode. And you know what? This is really because I took so much time away from um, the most previous episode, which is so silly because it's like as soon as something starts going well for me, I don't know. It's like my TikTok starts going well or my podcast starts going well, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. But then I also added this other like element and pressure of making it a video podcast. And like, honestly, even right now, I'm kind of like, it's so hard because it's like, with when I put myself online, I'm either being completely me and natural, which is usually what I do in the podcast, or I'm kind of doing a bit of a shtick. Like it's me, but I might be doing a bit of a shtick, like a bit of a Gingerwood shtick. And so I really liked the podcast because it was really kind of just me talking shit and shooting the shit. But now with the video element, it's like I'm staring at myself right now, and like I'm like, it makes me more conscious, but, I'm a star. I need to get with it and learn a bit. So it's good practice. Anyways, let's get down to business. So I've been living now in LA for it's coming on 2 months. It's almost 2 months. And if you were following me previously or whatever and know what's up, before then I was in Italy for 3 months. So I've been away from Australia, my home, for almost 5 months now, which is pretty crazy actually. Um, and extra crazy considering when I left, it was me breaking up with my boyfriend, and I just got on a plane and went over to Italy, stayed 3 months with Davis, had a ball, explored myself, blah blah blah. And that's kind of up to where you guys know in my story, which is I'd kind of gone through all my money because I had a bunch of savings, and I found myself then in a position where I was like, okay, shit, I'm completely broke, but I wanted to go to LA. Like that was my plan. I wanted to go to LA. I wanted to come here. I wanted to vibe. How did I do it? How did she do it? I can only like imagine that, anyone kind of even just following me on Instagram or socials or whatever that know me and stuff kind of are either like, how the hell is she affording this? How the hell is she funding this? Like, what the fuck? They're either just curious, or they know a bit about me and are like, she's out here fucking for money. Like, she's out here fucking for money. I know Ginger Woods. She's like, she's doing some bad things to create this life for herself. And look, I'll say it right here for the record. I have absolutely fucked for money. I have absolutely fucked for money, but that's not how I'm here. So, in terms of how I'm funding this, when I was in Italy, and I was on my friend Davis's couch and I was completely broke and just thinking, like, I need to make something happen here. I did actually, because as I said, I have fucked for money before, and I started kind of looking into, sugar baby websites again, like independent escort websites, like um, I was looking at those websites in like London. That's basically kind of what my first thought was like, you know what? Even though I haven't done it in so long, because I stopped doing it when I started dating my ex, I was like, I want to go to LA, like, let's pull a couple tricks, like, make this happen. So, but yeah, I had it set for the UK with kind of the plan of like, okay, maybe I could, find a couple of men there who want to make a couple bookings with me, and then head to LA. And I started doing it. And as I said, I haven't fucked for money in so long. And I just kind of realized like this isn't a bit of quick cash I need. Like I need quite a bit of cash to make this happen. Like I need quite a bit of money to, go to America, get accommodation, blah blah blah. And I've got no money. I have no money. And I just started thinking about it, and I was like, even if I, charge my high prices that I used to charge, like it's gonna be like I'm gonna have to do it a bit, and I just didn't want to. I don't Yeah, I wanted to try and figure out another way, because especially I think the main thing the place that I've come to with sex work is I enjoy it most when I'm not doing it out of desperation. Whenever I like, even here in America, I have like, my sugar book profile and stuff. And if something comes along that's, amazing, then that'll be great. But when I go out and seek it out of desperation, it usually is just really fucks with me. And you know what? I would have done it. I would have done anything, but I kind of started to brainstorm, and I was like, what can I do here? Like, let's make a miracle happen. Like I've made a lot of miracles happen before. Um, like let's put my brain to it. So I ended up thinking of this guy that I did actually meet from a sugar baby website. I used to see him a long time ago, and we just got along well. Like I'd say there's about three or four older men whose names I would never ever disclose, nor I would anything about their identity, nor do I really like to even talk about it too much. Just I don't know, out of respect to like what I have with them. Like I think when there is a really good kind of sugar daddy, sugar baby relationship, I actually think it's a really beautiful, symbiotic kind of thing. Like it's kind of one of the most honest relationships there is, because you've got, a rich, very busy man who doesn't actually have the time or means to give what is needed in a proper relationship to a girlfriend or a wife or whatever. And you have me, a sugar baby, looking for like kind of, a bit of protection and financial support. And yeah, obviously there's a lot of craziness and danger in that world, but I have had three or four men who I've had very, very, very special connections with, that's beyond sex, beyond money, and also beyond like what relationship is. Because it's like if they're over 40, it's not actually going to be a real thing, but it's kind of just this secret thing that's just between us, and it's beautiful. Anyway, I reached out to this man. He's a very, very kind man. I used to love hanging out with him. We used to, you know, go to a hotel, and we'd just spend like 5 hours just like talking and stuff, having discussions, and then obviously, we'd have a bit of fun. We'd have a bit of fun, and he'd give me a bit of cash, but we also just like really got along and had a really good friendship as well. Anyway, I've spoken to him off and on a couple of times. Even when I got into a relationship, because my ex would always see everything, but he'd just see if I was all good and blah blah blah. Anyway, this man in particular is extremely wealthy, and not only is he extremely wealthy, but I remember knowing this. I couldn't tell you what his exact job is, but I do know that part of what he does with making money is investing into young people. Like he used to tell me, I remember him telling me like, "Oh, I've been reading all these pictures from like young entrepreneurs about why I should invest in their business." And I had that memory, and I had a bit of a spark. I had a little bit of a hang on. Did I just have a brilliant idea? Could this be so mad and insane that it just might work? I had this plan that I could ask him to make an investment in me as an entrepreneur, and that investment is funding my USA trip. However, I had to do it right. Like, he's a generous man, but he's not just gonna, fork out money just because I'm like, hey, can I like have some money to like go to America? Like thanks, daddy. Like, no, it's not gonna work like that. Especially because it's like he's lives in Australia. It's not even like I'm offering like, like, hey, I need some quick cash. Can we meet up and like fuck or something? Like, it's like I'm like coming to him now of like, you know, I wanted to approach it properly. So once I had that idea, I spend 4 straight days in Italy going to the library and getting on my iPad, and I made about a 30-minute like PowerPoint presentation slash slideshow slash kind of video editing thing of exactly why he should invest in funding my trip to go to LA. And like, I have to give it to myself. Like, I will always keep this. I'm going to keep this presentation forever because it means so much to me. I can't show it publicly because it's a bit inappropriate. But it's not only inappropriate, like, it's funny, it's emotional. It plays the victim card a little bit. A little bit it plays the victim card, like, a little bit like, I don't want to go back to that life. Like, I don't want to go back to that life. You know that I'm better than that. No, sorry, not that I'm better than that. This is not at all any. Uh, I respect the shit out of escorts. It's not that I'm better than that, but for the sake of the thing, I did play a little bit of sympathy card of like, I don't want to have to do this. But there was so much more than that. It was also incredibly funny, incredibly well written, and I also did include some nudes in it. Anyway, I'd sent it off to him, and I was just kind of like, this is just now just going on a whim because I've now spent like I've just put all of my energy into this. Like, I'm just kind of banking on it. Like, I'm just banking on it. And like, it was so good being with someone like Davis who just believed that I'd make something work. Like, he never doubted me. He was always just like, oh yeah, you're going to America. Like, I was like using me and Davis like have each other's credit cards on our Apple Pay, because we were like going through different times of like not having money, and like I was like broke for like a long period towards the end of Italy. And I was like using his card to buy things and stuff, but he was like, it's fine. Like, you're going to sort it out and go to America. And then like, you'll look after me at some point. So yeah, I'm like broke in Italy. I've just spent 4 days making this like 30-minute PowerPoint presentation to send to this man, in just the hopes that he'll just like, get back to me. I remember, and I'd sent it off and I'd kind of said a bit of what it was about and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, this sounds interesting. Like, I'll have a look when I get a chance and I'll get back to you. A couple of days go past, and like these days go past, and I'm just like, oh my God. I went to fucking church. I went to church and prayed. I went to church and prayed that this would all just work out for me. And it did. It did. It fucking did. He got back to me. He said, first of all, I read pitch decks from young people every single day. I've never seen one with nudes in it. So that's a really great sales pitch. So that was the first plus. And then he actually sent me a message. He's like, this is genuinely one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen, and I'm going to help you. And I was like, oh my God. Like, holy shit. Holy shit. Like, how fucking incredible that I did that. So at that point, it was just like, we're fucking on. Like, we're on. Like, let's fucking go. Like, the fact that I pulled that off was so, I've really pushed my kind of, I guess, manifestation skills and survival skills and all of that stuff before. Like, this was probably the biggest time I've properly tested it. Like, I've had so many situations where I need money for something, or I need to make something happen, or blah blah blah. Like, I really like, and I urgently need it, and I just make it happen. But this was a situation where it was like, this is a big ask. Like, I got a big loan from him. Like, and he's helped me out since and stuff. Like, and also, I also do have my other little kind of income sources. Things like OnlyFans and, a couple of guys that I kind of message or whatever that I get money here and there from. Like I've got my little things. Like I've got a couple of little things that I kind of go to, but I needed like a kind of big solid chunk of money to kind of make this happen. And I needed the support. And I also like it's kind of so beautiful because it was like I literally did convince like a businessman who's used to going through like people young people who have actually studied business or whatever, or who are like have done life the so-called right way, and he goes through them, like he goes and approves and like blah blah blah, and it just shows. It's like after that point I was like, okay, so I'm an international businesswoman now. Like I am. I'm sorry, but like that it is I didn't, I'm not in Australia. I didn't go and fuck him for that money. I convinced him with my talent, my wit, and my charisma. Like I am an international businesswoman and I didn't need the degree to do that. I'm sorry, but that's baller. It was such a reassuring moment in my life of like, I constantly obviously feel a lot of I have felt a lot of judgment and a lot of you know criticism and stuff from um sometimes people close in my life, and sometimes especially like on the internet or whatever, because I'm quite open with the fact that I've been a stripper, I have an OnlyFans, like I am a hustler, like I'm a hustler, like first and foremost I'm a hustler. I'm a sex worker, like I've fucked for money a lot, like I yeah, and I've received quite a bit of judgment and scrutiny for that, especially by like peers in the cool scene in Australia. In recent years, the whole like, I guess, kind of being like kind of sex work has become like a bit more cool and trendy. But I definitely got like my ex-boyfriend Ziad, his whole friend group, like that Sydney clout scene. Like I felt very bullied and judged by them. I felt very bullied and judged by like a lot of the um, kind of indie cool scene in Sydney. And yeah, I guess I also really struggled as well because I didn't properly feel like I don't have one community that's mine. I am so good at integrating into different communities, and like I've been bouncing through different communities as my whole adult life, but I don't ever feel like I belong to one of them enough. And I think that's kind of proving to me now, but like that's okay because that was my education. Like I actually remember the strip club that I worked at, the Peter Shamin, when I first, in like my first couple of weeks, because I started working there like only a couple of days after my 18th birthday, and I was very close with the owners, and who was a couple, Chris and Jess. And I remember Chris said to me, um, Lola, because Lola's my stripper name. He said, Lola, welcome to the Peter Shamin. This is the school of life. And I remember when he said, this is the school of life, I took it quite seriously. Like, I was like, whoa, interesting. And I feel like through things like, working at the Peter Shamin as a stripper and a bartender and a waitress, and constantly moving around and constantly like, fucking for money when I needed to, or like constantly throwing myself into different friendship groups, like talking to different people of all different ages, all different backgrounds, all different kind of types of people. Like that was my education. And that's what makes me now an international businesswoman. Like I can do anything. I really can. Like that I've been told so much as well that like I've made, mistakes and stuff from not going to uni or like doing this and that, but no, like I literally have like broken the barriers of reality. Like I'm sorry to kind of toot my own horn a bit. I'm only kind of gassing myself up a bit here because I also need to, because I've also done it completely on my own. Like both times I've split up with, I've had two very serious relationships in my adult life, and both times that I've done that, it's been because I know that I need to experience the world all on my own, just as ginger woods, because, ginger woods can be powerful out here. And the majority of people do actually, either fall into comfort of a friend group, or fall into comfort of a relationship, fall into a comfort of being at uni, fall into a comfort of being at the same job, falling into a comfort of anything, like fall into a comfort of just like, uh, limiting yourself to whatever little world that is your main world. And I'm not shitting on that. I'm really not. It's honestly, sometimes obviously it's a part of my lonely life. Like I get lonely, and I do get sad about, not having my own little world or something. So I'm not shitting on that. It's a beautiful thing, but I've also feel like I've been judged and shat on quite a bit, for the way that I kind of go off and do my own thing. And I do think it's proof that, like, now I really can do anything. Like, I have completely defied the laws of what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to get things. Like, I'm living in LA. I'm living in LA. I haven't had a proper job for like the past 2 years. Like, I haven't even fucked, and like, I'm not escorting at the moment. Like, I'm just straight up out here making it work. Anyway, in terms of what is next, my plan was kind of, because I originally, there is a rapper, and he's like a rapper slash businessman, who lives in New York. I really want to go to New York to meet him to start working on some things creatively. I almost did go to New York first, but I had a double winter. Like, I was in Australia for winter last year, and then I went to Italy, and that was winter. And even though I'm like super duper white, like, I actually prefer the cold. Like, I'm so white that I prefer the cold. I've got like, I'm Polish. I'm Nordic. I've got Nordic in my blood. But yeah, I just wanted some sun, and I just kind of wanted to go to LA to like kind of vibe for a month and a half or so, and also kind of write and stuff, and so I'm kind of like, okay, I'm gonna like go to LA, just kind of vibe and be a bit of a nomad and whatever. Then I'll go to New York. And vibing is exactly what I've been doing. Absolutely. So I had an Airbnb in Venice. It was literally like, the location was so incredible. Like, it was actually insane. I was living, but it was kind of a really small studio apartment that was basically just like a bedroom, a little kitchen attached, and a little bathroom, but like everything I needed. And I was there for 31 days. Then I booked like a way bougier. It was probably like a very bougie apartment in Venice. It was probably a very irresponsible financial decision. The only reason I made it was because, like, it was actually insane. Like, it was way out of my budget, like impossible out of my budget. But the lady who owns it gave me a bit of a discount, which still made it ridiculously expensive. But I was just kind of like, I don't know, I was in a place where I felt I was feeling a lot of things. And because in my first like month, like that first 31 days, I was going pretty hard on like indulgently living. Like, I was kind of like having a bit of a, fuck yeah, like, I'm in LA, and also probably having like quite a bit of um, shock to the system. Also, if you've been listening to my podcast, I was still going through like kind of drama and feelings and stuff about my ex Matthew. And yeah, I was just kind of like going out, meeting people, getting fucked up, um, and eating naughty food, and like, I was just living quite indulgently. I started going on some dates, like just playing the field a bit of like, because I would love to stay in LA for a while. So I did kind of have a bit of a thought of like, oh, I should be dating while I'm here, because you never know. Like, I might, meet someone and get a green card. Um, so I was like kind of seeing a couple of guys and going on some dates. But yeah, while I was living this kind of very up and down kind of life, that's kind of what it is when you're kind of living this kind of wild nomad life. And also, I hadn't really set myself much to do because I was kind of like, okay, my time in LA is just kind of vibing there, like, experiencing being a Venice bitch, like Lana Del Rey's song. And yeah, just, kind of writing and getting some thoughts down and building some concepts and stuff, to potentially, like, make a song or, make the podcast or whatever. So, like, it's really crazy because I'm such a creature of environment. um I can really, I'm not fake at all, and nor do I kind of put it on, but I do just, it's just genuine, it's naturally who I am to kind of adapt to different circles of people or different vibes or different worlds and stuff. And I feel like being in LA, I'm like constantly throwing myself into so many different worlds, which is great and amazing, but it also like can lead to a lot of, a bit of instability in yourself and blah blah blah. But yeah, after about 3 weeks, when I kind of started to feel a little bit more settled into my surroundings. I have this older gay friend who I actually, because I did live in LA for 2 years when I was a kid, when I was 5 and 6. And this gay couple who was friends with my parents at the time, um, one of them called Parker, he's followed me on Instagram for ages. And I reached out to him, being like, I'm in LA. He's this fabulous, like, he's 63, but he does not look 63. Like, he literally looks like he's like 45. He's like this incredibly fit, like, fabulous gay man who, like, he's just so fabulous. Anyway, he's lives in Santa Monica, and because I was in Venice, he also introduced me to this woman who was a retired actress, and she took me to a couple of dance classes, which was really fun because, I am a dancer at heart. I was a stripper, so I love dancing. I also grew up dancing. Like, I really, really love dancing. And she was fabulous. She's so fabulous. She's a retired actress, and she's kind of a bit wild and crazy, but it's so cute. She like let me use her class passes to go to dance lessons, and I would like show her cool new music in the car, which was really, really beautiful. It was like when it was time to finish at that Airbnb, I kind of was like, had in my head of like, you know what, I think I need a bit of cleansing, and like I just like need a nice place. Like, I don't care. Like, I've already proved that like money isn't even real. Like, I can just produce it. So I just sorry, where was I? I also slowed down with dating. Like, as much as I would love like a whirlwind romance to come and like smack me in the face and like, have a guy who's like supports me financially and like wants to give me a green card, and like I actually think I just need to chill a bit on dating because wait, I actually wrote this down. I like wrote down, and I think it's like quite a actually good piece of writing about me why I need to stop, take a chill pill from dating. I kind of think I just need to chill on dating at the moment because when it comes to these charming men with money looking for a fun and sweet girl to look after, I'm really fucking good at reeling them in. But I'm even better at shattering the submissive and polite dream girl image that I so wonderfully paint for them by abruptly revealing that I am not only intelligent in a way that is extremely threatening to their ego, but also extremely retarded and impossible to understand, let alone control. Which is such tea. Like, it's so funny as well because it's like with these, like, I had such a fantasy of kind of like meeting like a charming rich American man and kind of, going all like, I can be a little baby, like, and it's not fake. Like, I'm not putting it on. Like, I am kind of submissive and stuff, but I'm also like, I don't know. I guess I've like got layers, and I'm like, and I can't, even if I wanted to, and even if I tried to, those layers will show through. And honestly, if a man has certain insecurities, it's just not going to be for him. Because that's the really hard thing, I think, as well, that I find with dating. And also, honestly, it's probably why a lot of people like have kind of intense feelings of dislike towards me sometimes is because I'm very ditzy and I'm very kind of submissive to the world and kind of, whatever, like I don't care. But I'm also extremely intelligent, like threateningly intelligent. And I don't have always control over when that comes out or when it doesn't. And I think it's like quite hard for some people, and especially kind of men in this dynamic who are kind of into, having control and stuff, to realize that I'm pretty smart. Like, you know what I mean? Honestly, sometimes I'm like, I wish I was a bit dumber because I would be able to just like, I'd probably be getting a green card now. Actually, no, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't be getting a green card because I wouldn't even be here if I was dumber. So, you know. Anyway, but yeah, so I have gone on definitely my own little kind of journey of being um, so proud of myself for being so magic, but also feeling kind of lonely because of, clearly a lot of what I've just said. But also, like, something that's so important for someone like me to constantly remind myself of is looking after myself when I'm like suddenly all alone in times like this. It's one of the cool things I learned in therapy. I remember when I did therapy of like, instead of having your like tough side be mean to your kind of softer, more vulnerable, like scared side, like she can kind of like be like a cool protector. And I fell in love with that. Like, so yeah, I'm constantly kind of checking in with my softer self, like while the kind of tougher one protects both of us. Anyway, I guess that's my leading on to the next update in the story. And even with the bougier apartment in Venice, it actually ended up ending before I thought it was going to end. And I was in a bit of a panic and I ended up I've just been staying in Hollywood for the past week. And I was staying at a hostel, but it was actually like, I like hate hostels, like I really do, but um like this one was different. It was, picture like this massive mansion and it has like a bunch of rooms, but then I had my own one. Anyway, I'm going to go back there next week, but I've just like right now currently where I'm sitting, I'm in an Airbnb back in Venice because I knew my friend Marcus was stopping over in LA for like 10 hours and I wanted to show him around Venice. And also, like, yeah, 3 days in Venice. Then I think, because I'm checking out of here tomorrow or the next day, I think that I'm going to go back to the same hostel that I was in Hollywood, just because it was so unique in the way that I had like my own private room and like my own bathroom and everything. But it was like in a man. It was just really great. Um, and then I want to book my flights to New York and sort out going to New York. Yeah, other than that, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of the Ditzy Prodigy Podcast and also the first episode of the Ditzy Prodigy Podcast in video format. I mean, I've said this before, but like now that I'm back in the rhythm of it, like I'm going to get back onto posting the podcast. And also, like, guys, honestly, your affection actually does mean so much to me. Like, if you want to leave like some like cute comments, like Caro, who messages me about the podcast, like that means everything. Like, I've actually really enjoyed this. Anyway, guys, I hope you're as proud of me as I am of myself because despite being a little fucking menace, I have become an international businesswoman, currently living in LA, soon to be New York. I am magic. All right, I'll see you guys very soon. And if you're listening as well, please rate it. please do your thing. And yeah, message me on Instagram and tell me what you think, and let's connect. All right. Remember, believe in yourself, do whatever you want, and vibe out. I love you, bitches. I'll speak to you very soon. Mwah.